Today we have two topics, like I mentioned. The first one will be a bit short because this is very simple topic, how to survive in different environments. Okay, so basically I'm going to share my own experience and also my own method to survive in different countries, different cities, and different environment with different people, okay, so that you can utilize that for your own experience in the future. Second topic today is a bit more important, I would say, because many of you are already manager and all of us are already leader. Okay? Either you are leading a department, or you are leading a section, or you are leading in a family or among friends group. All of us have a leading role. So today we are going to talk about good manager versus good leader. So for me, it's one of the favorite topic I want to talk about. So two very interesting topic prepared for today. Good. Are you excited? Good. The first one, how to survive in different environments. There are two ways to change our life. Okay? I mean, dramatically. Yes, of course, we can change our life by reading books, by attending different classes, by watching a lot of YouTube. Yes, we can change our life step by step. But it is very difficult to change our life, ourselves, dramatically in a very large scale. But there are two ways we can do that if we want to try. The first one is we need to change the people we spend time together. If we change who is surrounding me, we can change ourselves. We can change our life. I mentioned one name, Jim Rohn. This person has made one theory. He said, we are the average of 5 people we spend our time the most together. Okay? So, if you just think, who is the closest person, who are the 5 people I spend the time the most, 5 people, you are the average of those 5 people. So if you want to change yourself, you need to change those 5 people, right? And then your life will be different. That's the first way for us to change our life. Second way to change our life is we can change the place we live. If we are living in a different place, our life becomes different. There's a very good reason why your religion is different from my religion. Okay? The way you eat is different from the way I eat. Okay? Why? Because we have been living in a different environment. Okay? So the place we live is deciding what kind of life I am living. We are all hoteliers. As a hotelier, I believe, apart from being a good person, okay, we have a very high chance to be pushed to be a great human being, right? But apart from it, the biggest hotelier's privilege is mobility. We move around. For us, moving to another hotel, getting transferred to another sister hotel, or moving to another country, another city, is not something wow. It is happening all the time. Mobility is required and also it's privilege we have. So going back to the first one, how we change our life, 2 ways. We change people around us. We change the place we live in, right? We are so grateful. We can change our life very, very easily because we meet so many new people from time to time. Okay, we move every 3 years, every 4 years to another hotel, right? We have a new team, we have a new colleagues, we have a new manager. Okay? So we have an opportunity to change, transform our life into something better. And we move to another city, another hotel, another region, another country. We have another opportunity to try to change myself into next level. So how lucky we are. We are very, very lucky. Hotelier is fantastic job. This is biggest hotelier's privilege we should recognize. That's why I always tell you, please develop your career. Try to aim to become a general manager. Why? Because of this. We are not just talking about the higher salary of the GM. We are not just talking about the benefits I receive as a GM. I'm talking about the opportunity to change our life. You go to another city, you meet with another people, you move to another country, you have a very good chance to be another person. How passionate it is. We have only one life, but we can keep changing myself. So, to share my own experience, I have been living in 6 different countries and 8 different cities for more than 1 year. I'm not counting the one I spent only 1 month and 2 months. Okay. So, I was in Canada for 1 year, Vancouver. Another 1 year in USA, Kansas City. 9 years in United Kingdom, London. 4 years in South Korea, Seoul. And I moved to Indonesia, Jakarta for 2 years. Lombok Island for 2 years. 1 year in Kuching, Malaysia. And now I'm almost done with the 2 years in Bogor. Okay. So you can see that I had lots of opportunities to change myself. Okay. How lucky I was. But living in different environment is never easy. You meet new people with a different culture, different language, different way of thinking, different way of life. It's always challenging. Of course, now I feel better. When I move to another place, I have to admit that I feel nervous still. Yeah, I'm not denying it. When I decided to move to Bogor, I was thinking, maybe you think like this, right? I heard that we have a new Korean GM coming in. I hope he's not psycho. That's what you think, right? I feel the same. When I decided to go to Bogor, okay, I made a decision to go to Bogor. Hopefully my colleagues are not psycho. Yeah? It's a very nervous situation. It's not easy. So I had to think what kind of strategy I want to use to survive. When I went to USA, when I went to UK, living with the English people, when I decided to move to Indonesia, I never heard about Jakarta. What should I do? Okay, I heard they believe in Muslim. Okay, I never heard about their religion. What should I do? They don't eat pork. Okay, so yeah, I had lots of questions and concerns. Okay? So I decided my strategy like this. There's an old saying, when you are in Rome, you do what as Romans do. When in Rome, do as Romans do. You need to follow what local people do. That was my initial strategy. Yeah. So when I went to UK, okay, I could see that everybody drink beer. Okay, so yeah, that was easy. Yeah, so yeah, beer is my favorite as well. So I was sitting down in the pub, drinking a lot. Okay, try to follow their culture. Okay, but there was another challenge as well. When I first came to Indonesia, yes, I tried to eat a lot of Indonesian food. Very difficult, I would say. Okay, not easy. Yes, but I was very happy to find the nasi goreng. Yeah, so initial strategy I was utilizing was when in Rome, do as Romans do. It sounds very ironic, but I did for Korean as well. Because I was growing up in Korea, I was already 26 years old when I decided to move out of the Korea. So I was pure Korean, right? But because I spent 10 years outside Korea, and I never worked in Korean company, when I decided to join one hotel in Korea, which was Pullman, it was not easy. I had to adopt myself into the way they work, the way they interact. And I have to say that it was most difficult. Getting myself into Korean culture was most difficult experience. Not Indonesia, not Malaysia, not UK. The Korean culture was most difficult, even though I'm Korean. So when I decide to follow the local culture, I mimic what locals do, what Romans do. Okay, there are some side effects. The first side effect I had was too much hard work. Okay, basically I'm trying to follow what they do, right? So I'm trying to do something I'm not familiar with, something I never tried. Okay, I'm trying to eat Indonesian food on purpose. I'm trying to eat food with hand, which I never did. Okay, this is so much hard work because I never did it. Life is not about making effort. Life is about enjoyment. I want to enjoy my life, but my life became a work. Okay? I'm working at the hotel, and also my life itself is work because I'm trying to mimic people surrounding me. So it was too much hard work. Another problem is too much and many variants, which means when we think Canadian, American, British, we think they are all same. Unfortunately, they are all very, very different. And Malaysian, Indonesian, all very different. Like a Korean, Japanese, totally different. So each time I move to another city, each time I move to another country, I had to make extra efforts to learn again from the beginning. So different. Yeah, when I arrived in Malaysia, I was very confident. I already spent 4 years in Indonesia. Malaysia should be same, right? Okay, and then as soon as I arrived, they said, he's a Datuk, he's a Datuk. You know, what? It was so challenging. Another side effect, because I spent long time here and there, I could see that I'm starting to lose myself. There's a certain characteristics defining Charles Choi. I'm different from all of you. Yeah, you can define me. I have my own characters. And I could see that I'm starting to lose it because I'm mimicking other people. I'm trying to follow other people, so I'm losing my character, my own attitude. More importantly, because of that, I'm starting to lose my confidence because I cannot be myself. And I realized it's a big problem. And eventually, that is leading me to wondering if I lose my self-identity and philosophy. Self-identity was one of the reasons why I decided to move back to Korea. Because in UK, professionally, I was successful. I was getting a lot of promotions and I was already revenue manager in the hotel. So I was able to see the bright future, but I could see that I can see my identity. Living in Western country as an Asian man, I saw myself so small and I didn't like it. So I decided to explore my own country. And I tried Korea, and I could see that this time I'm losing my own philosophy, which means I'm usually very family-oriented person. Okay. I am usually very outspoken. I'm usually very unique. I'm not enjoying being a part of common culture or common value. I pursue something my own. That was me before. And in Korea, you cannot be like that because Korea is forcing you to be a part of society. In Korea, there's a very funny word. We have two words. One is called 다르다. 다르다. Another one is called 틀리다. Okay. 다르다 means in English different. 틀리다 means wrong. Okay. So when we say 다르다, it means different. When we say 틀리다, it means wrong. But when you speak Korean, if you mix these two words, nobody will recognize that you are making mistake. You can say, instead of you are wrong, you can say you are different. Instead of saying you are different, you can say you are wrong. That is Korean culture. If you are different, you are wrong. You should be same. And that was very, very difficult for me during my 4 years in Korea. I think that is top reason why I decided to go out again. And eventually I could see that I am becoming a person not matching with my own life values. I'm doing something which I hate, and I couldn't allow it. So my relationship with my wife was getting worse. Yeah, I come home very late, I drink every night, I go to the bar, karaoke, and spend time with the ladies. And okay, change of strategy. So I made a decision to change my strategy to survive. That's how I come up with this. We have to stick to the principles. So most of you heard about it many times. Okay? I live with principles of life, which means the values welcomed by all kinds of culture, all kinds of religion, all kinds of countries and nationalities and people. Everybody welcome it. You cannot deny, you cannot dislike the value when we say we have to be honest, we have to be punctual, we have to be diligent, we have to be cooperative, generous, integrity. You cannot argue because everybody welcome that value. So if you stick to the principles of life, there are some obvious benefits. The first benefit is you are protected. There are always a possibility that you are attacked by people who do not like your philosophy, who do not like your behavior, who do not like your value. Maybe we don't need to say the word like, maybe do not agree. It doesn't matter. Yeah, but once we start to stick to the principles, you are protected because nobody can come and say, hey, I can see that you are always punctual. I don't like it. It doesn't happen. Nobody can tell you that you are always smiling. You are so friendly. I hate you. You are too generous. You are too hardworking. You are too cooperative. Can you be selfish? Impossible. So you will be never challenged. It's a lot of freedom. You feel so free because nobody tell you what to do. And less stress. Why? Because most of stress in modern societies coming from relationship with the other people. Once you start to stick to the principles, you do not need to worry about people. You do not worry. If someone still doesn't like you or doesn't agree with you, it's their problem because I'm sticking to the principles. So you don't need to worry. And if once you start not to worry about other people, stress level is dramatically reduced. And once you become yourself and do not worry about other people, you just go wherever you want to go, the level of confidence and self-esteem is going up very, very, very dramatically. You feel always confident. And you can make responsible decisions, which means when we make a decision, we all have this experience. You have so many people trying to influence the decision of your life. Could be your parents, could be a teacher, could be a manager, could be a colleague, sister, brothers, relatives, friends. It doesn't matter. They always want to contribute to your decision. One of the reasons is they maybe want to contribute. Another reason is human beings are designed to protect ourselves, which means when I decided to go A, we have to make sure B is bad. Human being is like that. Let me give you an example. Let's say maybe Novotel and Ibis was not cluster, okay? And then Accor was contacting me and saying, okay, Charles, we have two hotels, Novotel 보고, Ibis Styles 보고, okay? Okay, 노보틀 보고 has a renovation and it's a bit difficult situation. EBS style, new hotel, fantastic, good team, ES score 97. Which one do you want to go? Okay, I said, I want to go to EBS. Okay, I made a decision. Human being is designed, programmed this way. I decided EBS, right? So if someone says Novotel is better, I try to make them enemy. I will try very best to make Novotel bad, to protect my decision, to justify my decision. That is human beings' psychology. So which means when we make a decision, people, especially the decisions other people cannot make or do not want to make, they will say that's bad because I don't do it. That's bad because I don't want to do it. That's bad because I cannot do it, but you are doing it. So please don't do it. And we are likely to be influenced. When I decided to come to Indonesia, there were so many people coming to my office who didn't really contribute their ideas before, saying that, Indonesia is an underdeveloped country, and it's a Muslim country, very far, don't go. Salary very low, and very hard. There were so many people. It was unbelievable. Every single people are trying to say it's a bad decision. And it turned out as the best decision in my life, right? You know that I love being here. I became a GM very quickly after I moved to Pullman Jakarta Central Park. It was the best decision I ever made for the last 20 years, in terms of my life, personal life, and professional life. But there were so many people who said this decision is wrong. When you stick to the principles of life, you don't need to listen to those. And you will not be shaken. Because I know what I want is this, and this is based on my principle. My principle is it good for my family? Yes, being an expat is fantastic for my children. There are so many things you can ask yourself, and then not other people. If you stick to principles. Which means when you stick to the principle, you have a better chance to make better decisions. Because it's not made by opinions from other people who has sometimes bad intention. So if you are hesitating to make a big decision because it is not supported by other people or society or group of people, it doesn't matter. Even though you are the only one who thinks it's correct, if it is supported by principles of life, you can go ahead. Stop asking to other people, but ask your life values, what you want. And my advice to you is try whatever you want, as long as it is in line with principles. And more you do, more you try, you have a more experience. And those experiences will make you more open-minded, and then more flexible, and eventually adaptable. It's my son and daughter. Okay. I have two very big roles, right? The one is called GM, another one is called father. A third one is husband, but less important. As a father, I always try to help my kids to have a better life. I want to do something which will eventually help them to have a better life. It's a very big homework and assignment I always have. And I know that my time is limited. Once they become 14 years, 13 years, they will not listen to me anymore, right? So I have only limited time to influence them. And looking back my own, I can see that my mother has given me a few great things which is helping me to be successful with my life. For example, when I was kindergarten, elementary school, middle school, high school, I have been sick many times, right? I had a flu, I had so many things. Yeah? Sometimes I fell down and bleeding. my mother never allowed me to stay at home. I never missed the class. Never missed the class, never late for the class. And as you know, when you are a child, it's not up to you, it's up to your mother. Because of my mother, I was never late for the school. I was never absent for the school. That is continuing until now, after I become adult. And I know that it's not my personality, that is my mother's artwork. I believe I owe this kind of thing to my mother. So considering this situation, I want to do the same to them, right? When they grow up, I want them to remember what I gave to them. But problem is, it's so difficult. My parents was always saying, okay, study hard. And English would be good if you can master English. Your life will be easier. So study English, study math, okay? If you can do, please do be a doctor. Yeah? Yeah. Study hard, always study hard. Problem is, I wish I can say same thing to them. Unfortunately, I cannot because I know that studying hard is not good enough. And I cannot tell them study English because I know that speaking English is not more privileged like I do. My life is shifted because I speak English, right? I'm here because I speak English. But for them, speaking English is nothing because later you can just buy English cheap and here put it. Yeah, you can buy dictionary and put it in your brain, right? That will happen after 10 years, in my opinion. So what's the meaning to learn English? So for them, I'm trying to find something to help them, and I gave up. It's impossible because I cannot forecast what kind of life they are going to have, what kind of world, what kind of situation they are going to encounter. So I realized that I need them to have adaptability. They need to survive with the future, and they need to know how to adopt. Because every day, every month, every year, it will be different world. We will be challenged by new environment without moving. In the beginning, we said there are two ways to change our life. Change the people around us, change the place we live in. Unfortunately, it's not true anymore. Because even though we stay here, our environment will change. Bogor will be totally different after 5 years, after 10 years. So if we do not know how to adopt ourselves, we cannot survive because surrounding will change. So conclusion is, we need to make ourselves ready. How? We need to be adaptable. That is the conclusion. At least from my opinion, the value, the ability, we need to cultivate from now because we are not going to die tomorrow, right? All of us will live at least 50 more years. So in order for us to survive, in order for us to help our children's generation, now let's find out how we can adopt. That is the end of first session. Any questions? Everybody okay? No problem? Yeah, we just need to adopt. So we are lucky, right? Because we have lots of chance to move around, meeting with the new people, with the new colleagues, new team. So we are already flexible. We are already adaptable. Yeah, so I think we have a good chance to survive in the future. Yes, Ms. Stella.
Thank you, Pachars. Just one question from me actually. You're always talking about the principle of life. To be honest, for myself, I really don't understand what principle of life that I have. So I mean, do you have any suggestion to the people like me? How we can find out what is our principle of life? So what is exactly this principle of life?
Okay. Thank you very much for important question. I think that there's just a little bit confusion. Principles of life is not personal. So you cannot find your own. You're talking about personal value. Okay? So personal value you can define. Okay? But principles of life is worldwide and it's universal. Like I said, honest, integrity, hard work, generous, friendly. That is for everyone, right? It's not only for you or me. So what I'm saying is, principle of life is something everybody is following, everybody is respecting, everybody is trusting. Okay? And we all learned when we were young, when we were child. None of the parents will say, you need to be lazy. We all were encouraged by our parents to be following the principles. Just we forgot that because as becomes students and teenagers and adults, now nobody is teaching us the principles anymore. So we were away from principles for a while. We are spoiled those period. Now we have to go back to our kindergarten because we used to be sticking to the principles. When we cross the road, we used to raise the hand. Okay? Now we are not doing it anymore because we forgot the value. So that is principles of life. Your question, personal value, I want to find my personal value. What is important in my life? Okay? It is not from me, from my favorite book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. If you want to decide what is important in your life, you need to have one experience. Okay? You need to assume that you have died. You have died. You are dead. So you are dead, and then there's a funeral. Okay? People come to your funeral. Okay? And then when people you love come to your funeral, what do you want them to say about you? That is how you decide your value. When your friends, when your colleagues, when your parents, your family members come to your funeral, what do you want to hear from them? Do you want them to say, Stella was very lovely, friendly, generous person? Do you want to hear that? Or do you want to hear Stella was most hardworking, effective, strong leadership person? What do you want to hear? That's what you value. Because at the end of the day, when we die, and at the end of our life, we want to define our life with that value. If you think about that experience, you might be able to come up with some personal value list. Any other questions?